Hey kids, Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another bike review. Today I'm doing a couple of firsts because I'm riding a bike that, despite it being Yamaha's best-selling motorcycle throughout Europe, in fact not just Yamaha's, apparently this bike, or bikes like this, the MT-07 I'm talking about, has been the best selling naked bike across Europe for the last 10 years. I had no idea. So yeah, it's a popular bike, but it's a bike that I believe I haven't ridden before. I've ridden the Tracer 7, but I don't think I've ever ridden an MT-07, so that's a first for me. And then the other first is this bike. It's got the new Y-AMT automatic gearbox setup. So two firsts on this, so stick around and stay tuned. I'll tell you what I think of it. Right, welcome back to a very busy Great Bissenden today. It's back end of May when I'm recording, but goodness me, it's a bit chilly, I have to say. But anyway, us Brits, we do love a bit of weather chat, don't we? Look, we got a white van, all is well, fantastic. Is he going to turn down my test route? Let's find out. No indicators yet, it's looking... Ah, there we go, he is going down my test route. How annoying. Oh well, never mind. Alright, we'll get a chance to overtake him, I'm sure. Anyway, while we're waiting to get into a slightly faster road and clear off from that van, unless he clears off from me, which he might do, let's get on to the subject of the video then, the bike. So yeah, the MT-07, how could I not have ridden one so far? Somebody will probably come to me now and dig out an old video and say that I have done, but I really don't recall doing it. I had a quick search and I couldn't see any videos where I had, and I don't remember anything about it, so high time I rode one, especially as they are so popular. I love the MT-09, the big brother of this, which is a triple. This is a twin-cylinder bike, and it's more in the same sort of genre as the new Honda Hornet, the Suzuki GSX 8S, those sort of bikes. So those are competitors for it, if you like. And I've ridden both those, and I like both those bikes. So I don't know why I didn't get onto this sooner. So first off, as ever, comfort on the bike. How does you feel? Well, riding position is lovely. I'm sat upright. All the weight is on my backside. Good day, sir. What was that? KTM? No, Suzuki. Not sure. Anyway. Oh, the white van's turning off. This is great. Oh no, it's saying I can overtake. Check. I think it's that. Thank you. See? Nice guys, white van drivers. Anyway, yes, back to comfort. So yeah, seating position lovely. Upright. Weight is on my backside, and I haven't got any appreciable weight on my wrists. I can grip the tank nicely with my legs. It's a comfy place to be. Nice wide handlebars. It's a naked bike, so I'm getting the full blast of the wind, of course. But no, feels lovely in terms of riding position. Legs quite tucked up in a sporty position, but not too extreme. It's as you'd expect to, I guess. What isn't quite as expected is the seat, which is a little bit hard. It's quite spacious, you can move around. I'm an average size fella at 5'8", and I think you'd be alright. Even though this is physically quite a small bike, I think you'd be alright if you were larger than me on it, because you can move about on the seat quite nicely. So yeah, comfort wise, with a small caveat that the seat's a bit hard, it's alright, pretty comfy, like it. Instrumentation, switch gear, that sort of thing. Well, if you've been on an MT-09, this will all be very familiar. This is one of the things they've updated on the bike apparently, although having not ridden the old bike I can't really compare this against previous versions. But it does look familiar to other Yamahas that I've ridden recently, in that it looks to me, to all intents and purposes, this TFT is the same as the one on the MT-09. It's quite nice and clear, no complaints there. And then the switch gear again, typical of a modern day Yamaha, which I have got a slight criticism with, because they put this funny indicator button on here now. Now you do get used to it, but it was one of those problems that didn't need fixing. But as I say, you get used to it, it's no big deal, but it's just a different sort of indicator rocker switch to what we're used to. You may notice as well that this bike over on the left hand side here has cruise control, which is a nice little addition. That comes only on the Y-AMT, the automatic version of the bike. So even if you don't want the auto specifically, you might want cruise control. That might be a reason enough to buy the auto version of the bike. The auto version of the bike is only something like, we'll go through the details in a minute in the specs, but it's only something like £300 more than the manual. So to get auto and cruise control for 300 quid, I think that's pretty good value. Right, before we get into how the bike handles, let me show you over the machine. Alright, let's take a look at this puppy then, shall we? And I think it is as cute as a button. One of the reasons why I hadn't ridden an MT-07 before is because I didn't really much like the looks of it. But I have to say, with the restyling they've done of this 2025 model year, I think it looks great. It's got this sort of Iron Man-ish type front, which is similar to what's on the MT-09. In fact, the bike overall, at first glance, I would say looks very much like an MT-09. It is a little bit smaller, maybe a little bit more stubby, but it's got definite MT-09 vibes. The only thing I don't like about the front of it is perhaps this main light here that looks a little bit cyclopsy, but you know, this is all personal preference stuff. Something else I do like that I'm sure some people won't are those blue wheels. This is very Yamaha, isn't it? I do like a coloured wheel, me, and those blue ones I think look absolutely splendid. A really cute bike. The only thing that lets it down is this hideous exhaust, the usual Euro 5 Plus monstrosity, and I wonder how that'll hold up over time. It's already sort of discolouring a little bit. If that goes rusty, that's going to look horrible, isn't it? But time will tell on that. But yeah, it's a nice looking bike, I reckon. It is, of course, all a matter of personal preference, but I think in this blue it looks particularly good. Right, just a little insertion here, because something I've noticed about the bike is when you jump on it and you just go to start her up, number one, you can't roll the bike backwards. There's no way it's going to go backwards. There's no handbrake or anything like that on here as you get on some automatic machines. But I don't know if there is a way of releasing it. There must be, but I haven't worked that out yet. So if you want to reverse the bike up, no idea how you do that. So need to read the manual if you get one. To start it, if you just press the button, it won't start. You have to make sure the side stands up and you have to pull the brake in. And then she starts up. So that's how that all works. Ah, now I can roll it back. There you go. Answered my own question. So it's basically when it's stopped and the engine not running, it won't roll back. That makes complete sense. Sorry Yamaha that I didn't read the manual before I set off on this review. Right, let's get going. Okay, welcome back aboard as I ride up one of the bumpiest roads I know, which I use to test suspension on. And yeah, it's pretty bumpy on this bike. I have to say, if I have a criticism of the way this bike rides, it is the suspension feels quite firm to me. You know, it's a relatively good value bike, so the suspension isn't top notch, it's not adjustable or anything like that. He says looking, no it's not. And it does feel a little bit on the hard side. I have ridden harder, so it's not terrible, but I think for me a little bit plusher would be nice. Well, we're now stuck behind this slightly slow car. Let's just talk about this auto box. It's interesting, they've put basically I assume servos on the gear change and clutch actuator to make it an automatic, so it changes automatically at certain rev conditions and so on, which makes it a little bit different to the auto clutch that I rode on the Honda recently, which still maintained a clutch lever and a gear change pedal. So if you look at this, no gear change down there, no clutch here. So it's entirely automatic. When you switch it on, you just wind the throttle on and off you go. It's a bit like riding a scooter in that respect. I'm not sure if I prefer that or not. I quite like the setup that the Honda had, where you had the choice of both. Right, so let's just nip down my little handling road here. What I would say is this bike has a very peppy engine. It picks up very well for such a small motor. It feels quick, and it's very agile and very light. So that's an awful lot of fun, this. But again, as you might be able to tell from my voice and maybe the picture, the suspension does let it down a bit on these bumpy roads. Whoa. Once you get moving a little bit, it does start to get a little bit out of shape. So maybe for the next iteration, Yamaha, a bit of a suspension upgrade, please. But it's so light and flickable, it's nice, actually, down the country lanes like this. Anyway, back to that auto box, and here we come. Look, come to a stop. Out we come, and up through the box she changes at what seems to be exactly the right point. Now it is a little bit clunky, the auto box, compared to the Yamaha and compared to things like DCT, but it is a twin cylinder machine. It's certainly no more clunky than you can do with your own foot. So it's not a major criticism. I'm just saying it's not silky smooth like the best quick shifters are. And I guess that's just the nature of the engine configuration. I mentioned, unlike the Honda, this doesn't have a clutch lever or a gear change pedal, or lever I should say, but it does have buttons here, so you can change gear as you like. So I'm in 6th at the moment. Look, if I hit the minus button on the handlebar, I can just change down, and it's pretty nice and smooth actually through the higher gears. And similarly, if I want to go up, I can do that manually too, and it's very easy with those paddles. And in fact, I don't think you would miss having a gear lever, because those paddles, once you get used to where they are, once you get it into your sort of finger memory, it works absolutely fine. I remember on the MT-09 launch, when they came out with the first Y-AMT bikes, they said that it didn't detract from your fun at all. And I think that's probably right, you know. Also, so far, in the short time that I've been riding this, I haven't noticed it selecting what I would judge as an incorrect gear at the wrong time. So the algorithm they have for changing gear, I think, is pretty spot on here. Loving the sound of this as I wind it up. It's almost got a sort of V4-esque quality about the sound. They've done a really good job on that tuning of the airbox. I love the way that Yamaha actually concentrate on fun for the rider and do things like that. Very, very nice. Let me just test the brakes. Whoa, prodigious stopping on the front brake. A nice bit of feel there actually as well. Nice and progressive. Feel what's going on. It's not in the least bit wooden or cheap feeling actually. It's nice. Let's come around this corner and try the rear. Nothing behind me still. Rear, nah, not great. Typical rear brake. ABS cut in very quickly when I fired it off then. You probably won't hear it through the microphone, but the engine's got a very pleasing note, and Yamaha have tuned the airbox such that the induction noise is kind of fed towards the rider and is satisfying. At quite low revs actually, and they did something similar on the MT-09. It really works a treat on the MT-07. It sounds great. Alrighty, well, I'm stuck behind this Kia. Let's go through the numbers, just a quick flash through the specifications of the bike, shall we? Okay, quick whiz through the specs then in the usual way, starting as always with the engine. Here it is, 690cc twin cylinder unit. It's called the CP2. It's now Euro 5 compliant, and compared to previous versions, apparently has better mid-range. It's got 68 newton meters of torque at 6,500 RPM and 73 brake horsepower at 8,750 RPM. So not huge numbers, but honestly, for road riding, you don't need any more. Front brake's pretty beefy with these dual 290mm discs, and these have got the Yamaha calipers on. Look like they are 2-pot calipers. No, I think make that 4-pot calipers. Anyway, whatever they are, they work pretty well. On the rear, we've got this 245mm disc with a single pot Nissan caliper. Suspension on the front taken up with this fairly basic telescopic fork with 130mm of travel and no adjustment. Nestling in there, can you see the rear suspension spring? That's link type suspension. Again, nothing particularly special, 130mm of travel. Seat height on the bike, a fairly manageable 805mm. It's nice and narrow, I can get my feet pretty much flat on the deck. The weight of the MT-07 is a nice and light 186 kilograms, and if you get this version with the Y-AMT, the Auto version, it only has 2.8 kilograms to the overall weight, and that is things like these servos that are bolted on either side. That's what adds the extra weight for that one. Tank capacity on the bike is a fairly standard 14 litres. Electronics wise on the MT-07, get this 5-inch TFT. It has riding modes, connectivity, if you can be doing all that sort of thing, and with the Y-AMT version, you've even got cruise control. Price of the bike, according to the Yamaha website, is £7,704, that's for the manual version, or this one is £8,054, so I make that 250 quid more for the Y-AMT, so you get the auto box and the cruise control for that. I think it's well worth having. Other stuff to know with the bike, there is an up-down quick shifter option available, but that comes as part of the Y-AMT version. The airbox is tuned, so it sounds nice between 20 and 50 kilometres an hour, apparently. And colour-wise, it's available in light grey, black or blue. There's also a sport pack and a comfort pack available. Alrighty, welcome back aboard the MT-07 Y-AMT. Which, even though I've only been riding it for a short time, this is very much a scratching the surface first ride review. I have to say, I can see why it's been a best-selling bike, because it's a really nice thing in terms of the fun factor it gives you. It's a perky little thing. There's something to be said for small light bikes, isn't there? And this definitely falls in that category of small light. So the MT-07 does have a couple of, well, I suppose driving modes we could call them, D and D+. I've just switched her into D+. And calm down, Andy. It's great fun. I think I'll just leave it in D+. It basically seems like it changes gear much quicker, short shifts. Just feels a lot more sporty, livens things up. And it felt fun just in D. But yeah, in D+, absolutely fantastic. And it quickly changed down gear there automatically as well, when it sensed that I was demanding a bit of extra shove. Brilliant. What a fun little thing. on faster roads. Here I am, 60 miles an hour. It is of course a naked bike, so you're in the full thrust of the airflow, but it's nice and smooth. It's absolutely fine on slightly faster roads. You'll have no issues whatsoever. Okay folks, welcome to Great Missenden car park, where I do my little lugging about test on bikes that I ride. This is basically to simulate what's it like moving the bike around your garage. What's the turning circle like? How easy is it to move around? Right, so I'll park in one of these standard car parking spaces here, and we'll give her a go. Right, middle of this space. We'll turn the bike off. Splendid looking bike, I have to say, really like it. Now I haven't worked out how you can move the bike backwards without the engine on, because when you turn the engine off it actually locks the bike, stops it from rolling back, so that makes complete sense. So I'm going to have to, I think in this case it's going to be slightly different to what I would normally do, start the bike up, which it won't do with the stand down. Oh, this is going well, isn't it? There we go. Right, alright, now I can roll her backwards and see what the turning circle's like. Feels nice and light getting her off the stand. It is a nice light bike. Turning circle, I can instantly tell, is in the medium category. If I put the stand down, it'll stop. There we go. So that was middle of that parking space to sort of the middle of that one. So yeah, I'd say I've had tighter turning circle bikes. I've also had much wider. So it's in the medium category. Very light to lift off the stand. No problem at all moving around. But I must read the manual and find out how you can move the bike backwards without starting the engine. There must be a way, surely. What are the pros and cons? Well, let's start with the things I like about the bike. First of all, it's small and light. That's the first thing. I do like this TFT. It's very nice. A little bit shiny maybe. You know, if there's light, strong sunshine behind you, which there isn't today, I can imagine it's going to dazzle you a bit. But it's nice and clear, easy to operate, got everything you need. The switch gear, although I moaned about the weird indicator button that Yamaha now do, it is nice quality, this quadrant, and it is all quite obvious how it operates with the joystick to flip through the various options, cruise control, the buttons to change up and down gear. That's all good. So it's easy to ride, easy to control, and I think for the fun factor you get out of this bike, it's great value for money as well. So for me, the main pros: lightweight, fun, feels quality in the typical Yamaha way. Cons, well, seat's a little bit hard. You might be able to fix that with an aftermarket seat or some padded underpants or something. And if I'm going to be picky, I would say the Y-AMT Auto gearbox on here, although it's fine, works absolutely fine, I wouldn't say it's quite as good or as smooth an implementation as you get on the Hondas. So if you want to go down the auto route, maybe have a ride on the Honda Auto clutched bike, see how you compare it with that. This just seems a little bit more clunky than that. It still works fine though. I'm not really criticising it majorly, because I don't think you could change gear manually as smoothly as this does. If I were buying one, would I go for the auto or the manual? Well, I think I would go for the auto actually, because it doesn't seem to change gear at the wrong time. It's not caught me out yet, and you gain the cruise control, which is really useful. Can't really think of any other cons. I think it looks good, the price is right, puts a smile on your face, and that's the most important thing about a bike, isn't it? It's got a lot of thrust, this, when you wind it up. For a middleweight, it's got a very perky engine. That's definitely a pro. Let's add that to my list. So yeah, overall, I shall be left with a very positive impression of the MT-07. I can see why it's been a top seller. It's a lovely bike. If you're in the market for a mid-range machine, check out this. Check out the GSX 8S. Check out the new Honda Hornet. There may be some others as well that I've forgotten, but this should definitely be in your shortlist. Right, that's it then for this time. Hope you enjoyed that. Look forward to reading your comments below, and speak to you next time. Until then, this has been the Missenden Flyer. Cheerio.